problem with making grandiose statements like Harry and Meghan do is that when you want to change those statements, or indeed you've decided that that's backfired because you're now just a micro celebrity, it's very difficult because, as I've often said here on the show, they're documented. Everything is now online on the internet, whether that be on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything is there to remind you of what you've said and what you did. If you recall with Prince Harry, he lashed out many times at not just the British media, but the worldwide media, apparently giving disinformation. All the while, there was Prince Harry urging people to basically, if you don't like your job, just leave it. It's not good for your mental health. Hardly the network of brains, is it? Because in this cost of living crisis, who simply can afford to do that? But that's what happens with multimillionaires, not just Meghan and Harry, but pop stars who decide to become political. Yes, you, Madonna. It's all very well, isn't it, telling people what to do when they have a lot of money. But of course, when these things take a turn for the worse, guess what? You're not supposed to remember things they've said before. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. Hope you're all well. Yes, this story is fascinating, truly, really is, because as we saw recently, Meghan Markle has emerged from her bunker and decided that, she wants to let the world know that, gasp, she could be returning to Instagram. She sort of teased this thing with the interview with the Little Red magazine about 6 months ago. If you recall, she had quite a prominent presence on social media with her vlog, whatever it's called, The Tea. That it was a way of her making money and apparently connecting to fans. Yeah, right. Now, what's interesting now, though, is by wanting to return, according to a very good source, this has proved incredibly embarrassing, but more importantly, something of an argument between the one-time royals, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. You see, Harry, with echoes of course, South Park, doesn't agree with the world of social media at all. Absolutely not. Meghan, on the other hand, understands in this 21st century world, if you want to sell something, particularly your brand, you need to connect. That's the deal. But Harry, allegedly, doesn't want this, and this has caused some ruptions between the two. None more so, of course, if you remember that Prince Harry went on record in speeches to say that, certain elements of the internet, whatever you want to call it, was full of toxicity. And, the bottom line is it wasn't good for your mental health. So there's Meghan getting her manicured fingers ready to tap away on Instagram. And there's Harry basically saying it's not good for you. You can see the dichotomy and the dilemma now that they have between them. But the bottom line is Meghan does what Meghan wants, as Harry famously said. And what's interesting here is she will need this to be able to sell whatever she's planning to do next. And rest assured, she's not rested on her laurels by removing herself from such a worldwide free platform. Obviously, the bigger idea was to use the podcast to try and right their wrongs. That's failed. The docuseries has failed. And the book has now become something of a laughingstock. But the bottom line for Meghan is she thinks she can retrieve it all with one tap of a well-manicured finger. That is, of course, unless Prince Harry puts his, well, what shall we say, rucksack down? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.